The most powerful ways to attract future opportunities. Today's conversation is sponsored by the Billy Keels Advisory Program. If you want to learn more about how to make your 9-to-5 optional, just go to billykeels.com/advising. Once again, that's billykeels.com/advising. The most powerful ways to attract future opportunities is another story that comes to you. And I can say at the time, or I guess at the time I would have said, unfortunately, for something that I lived, but I can tell you today, looking back on it, that fortunately I went through these heartaches because I can share with you what I did wrong so that you don't make the same mistakes and you can get to your goals so much faster. Ultimately, that's what I want for you. That is why I am investing the time to share these stories with you. But this goes back to my corporate days. It was the same thing, right? And like I said, these are a couple of the most powerful ways to attract future opportunities. And these future opportunities, as you're creating a life of optionality for yourself, are something that if you haven't started suffering from them, you will suffer from them unless you put into play or into practice the things that I'm going to share with you in this very brief episode. So I remember as I was working in my corporate role, I started having some very early success, and I've talked about that. It didn't take me 5 years to get to the goal. It took me a lot less time than that, 1.5 years. But along the way, I started realizing I wanted to go from just investing and having that be the vehicle to my optionality to actually beginning to build a business. And when I made that kind of movement from initially investing to now wanting to build a business, and most people will go through this, right? Unless you're crystal clear from the first moment. And that's one of the things that is possible. I just didn't do it because I tried to do everything by myself, right? Typical A player, high performer. Nobody can do it as well as I can. And that was one of the things that I suffered from the most. But let me not get too far off course because I want to talk to you about the powerful ways to attract future opportunities. Because when you are building this life of optionality, the more that you can focus on the things that you're good at and the less time you can spend stressing about how to get new opportunities, the better your life will be, the better feeling you will have at home. The loved ones that are surrounded by you will also thank you for actually figuring out how to find these powerful ways to attract future opportunities. Because I remember combing through trying to figure out how I could get more leads, more opportunities to come to me as I was building my business on the side, because I was still really crushing it during the day in my day job, right? I was making a lot of money. I had great recognition. I was in the top talent program, all these cool things. But then this little like side business was starting to really, really take a lot of my like energy, like my soul energy. And I realized a lot of it was because I wanted to build something bigger, but I just didn't have a way to attract the opportunities that were going to actually make my life and my corporate role optional, right? There was this moment where we were kind of stuck. And so I realized that over time, because for instance, when I started the very first side business, I was unable to attract clients. I was unable to attract future opportunities. Why? Because I was scared. I didn't really want people to know that I was actually out there because I was knocking down big money and having a lot of recognition and, doing all the things that corporate top achievers do. And I didn't want to get sidetracked. So the first big side business, didn't attract clients because I was afraid to get myself out there and it was super frustrating. Did not like it at all. But it was the thing that, I was afraid to really, truly take action because I wanted to protect my corporate role. I wanted to protect that security of those benefits. And I know I've talked about that in future episodes or in past episodes. But the thing that I started realizing over and over, because the first business failed to attract really new opportunities. The second side business failed to truly attract future opportunities either. But it was through these failure events. And it was frustrating and heart aching and all that kind of stuff for me. But I realized over time, I started recognizing patterns. And when you start recognizing patterns that you realize, okay, well, hang on a second. What I really wanted to do is get more. I went from opportunities, specific language that I'm going to give you is I wanted to then start attracting more clients because more clients meant more money. That's where my initial mindset was. But what I started realizing is that just to be able to have that feeling of successfully building something and understanding who I truly wanted to serve and have a system in place so that I didn't have to wreck my brain every single day trying to figure out how would I be able to attract more opportunities to me versus going out and completely stressing myself out. I thought to myself, well, you know what? I could have gotten to a point where the work world, the role at work was really fine. Although, like, I just knew that there was something else that I was supposed to be doing, but I couldn't do it if I couldn't figure out how to attract future opportunities. And it can look a lot of different ways depending on what your unique concept is. And depending on what your unique concept is, you can go into, I go into a lot into episode 488, just a couple episodes ago. Go check that one out if you really want to understand more about the figuring out your unique concept. But like, I knew that I had a higher calling. So I wanted to move there and I wanted to move towards that. But the thing is, and just like most times, I knew that I could get there because even though I was having early success and I started feeling this frustration, other people had already done it. I cannot say this enough. Like, there were POCs, proof of concepts out there of being able to show whether it was just through investing, was through building a side business, an online business, through consultancy, through whatever, I had proof of concept. So I knew that it could be done. But the thing is, here's what I lacked. And this is why you're here listening, is because one of the powerful ways is I started realizing, hey, listen, I got to build a system. I got to build a system because I'm working during the day. The day job is almost on autopilot, like it's truly on cruise control, and I'm still crushing it at the office. But this thing on the side that I really, really am loving, I don't have any infrastructure. It's not like in the corporate world. Like in the corporate world, when you're working for these big, large, multi-billion euro, dollar revenue companies, when you then got to put on your hat for small business owner, it's a whole different world. And I didn't have systems in place. And you can make them as elaborate as you want or as simple as you want. But I didn't have any systems. So I had to start there. I had to figure out, okay, well, what is it that I want to be able to do? What type of opportunities do I want to attract? Enlist the help of other people, because I had to do that. I was fortunate. I had more capital than I had time. So I used my money to find the right who. Took me a while to do that, by the way, because I'm one of these guys. I wanted to figure out how to do it, because no one could do it as well as I did. But anyway, I started there. But then afterwards, and this is where a lot of the tangible skills that I have that I learned in corporate, I could start to leverage it, because especially being in sales and sales leadership, it was about how do you identify problems? Because if you cannot identify a problem, then it's going to be really difficult for you to position your solution. Right. So when we start thinking about the ways to attract future opportunities, is one, build a system, two, figure out how you can actually identify problems or issues that you can uniquely solve. And then afterwards, here's what's important. Make sure that you're able to construct those solutions that build a bridge, that gap the bridge. Like if you have a gap, then you need to build a bridge, right? Because your future opportunities, there is something that that person or that individual or that situation is in a hellish type of situation, quote unquote. And you want to help move them from where they are to where they want to be tomorrow. So a lot of times, I spend a lot of time in software sales, right? So it's what is the current state versus the future state? What is the as is and the to be? So your as is like the hellish scenario, and your to be is your future scenario, where you want to take them. And you build a bridge for your unique opportunity. Hopefully that makes sense. Build the system, identify problems, create solutions, and bridge the gap between the two. And the thing is, even though I knew that all that was going on in my mind, I really, really struggled with the corporate world, because I felt like I was like, if I really started doing all of these, taking these steps, that I'd be cheating on her, right? And her being corporate. And if you haven't been here long enough, I literally talk about this in episode 420. So go back and check out 420, like what you need to know if you get caught cheating on your employer. Sounds a little bit risque. It's not so much, but it is full of great content. So go back, check out 420, because when I felt that struggle, because I didn't, even though I knew what to do, and like now you know what to do, but you're probably going to feel like if you actually start doing it, like you're going to get caught. Well, there's already something burning in your gut. There's already someone burning in the gut of the person that you're listening to this for, and that you're going to actually send the episode over to. So check out episode 420. It's going to help you. But the most important thing is, when you're looking for these most powerful ways to attract future opportunities, and I eventually got there, taking those steps, building the system, identifying problems for for my unique client. And then also being able to take the steps to build a bridge and help my client solve their issues. Like once I've started putting these approaches together, guess what happened? I started helping my clients. Why? Because I was attracting future opportunities by helping to identify their situation today, and more importantly, where they wanted to go tomorrow. And then the solution I had, whether that was identifying net new deals for properties that I was investing in at the time, or for clients that wanted to solve a specific solution, and whether it would be online, offline, that is what started to happen. So increasing the number of opportunities that were coming my way without me having to do a lot of extra work. One of the very concrete ideas was also being able to, in a very short period of time, like one of the achievements was being able to raise over $10 million from a very small group of investors in less than 3 years, right? There's a lot that goes on with that story as well, but these are tangible results. When you identify and you build your system, you identify the problems, you have a solution, and you build the bridge between the problem and the solution, and you do it in a way that you don't have to invest more of your time in order to have more people to speak to, or more opportunities to sift through. But more than that, once you figure out how to attract future opportunities, just like me, you start understanding, number one, and this is super important, you know who you want to serve, and you're crystal clear on that, and you are bringing them an opportunity, a solution that will solve their specific problem. And you start to understand the mechanics of this by doing it, not just simply by thinking about it and creating it in this ivory tower. You're actually doing it, and you learn by doing. And the more that you do it, the clearer that you get, that the stronger that you are bringing your message to market, and you're offering the solution that you can help others. And when you do that, it is a very, very powerful way to attract future opportunities. Ask me how I know. If it's not you, you know someone else who's suffering from this, they need help, share this episode with them. Because like, if any part of my story can help someone else, I would appreciate you sharing today's episode. Share it with family, share it with friends, share it with colleagues at work that you know they're struggling through this. Because I've been there, done that, and it sucks going through it alone. Trust me. So while you're doing that, while you're sharing the episode, guess where I'm going to be? I'm going to be right here. I am going to be preparing for the next episode. And so until then, I want to say thank you very, very much. And that's it. Thank you very much. Freedom! Today's conversation was sponsored by the Billy Keels Advisory Program. If you're looking to make your 9-to-5 optional and need some help, just go to billykeels.com/advising. Once again, that's billykeels.com/advising.